You're listening to Chicago Stories, a podcast from City Hall featuring the stories of everyday Chicagoans, as told to Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
I want to welcome everybody to Chicago Stories. This is Mayor Emanuel, and thanks for listening. My guest today is Nashone Greer-Adams, and she is the founder of Little Angels Learning Center in Englewood.
Yes, that would be correct.
Doing amazing things.
Yes, we do.
And you do early learning.
Yes, we do.
All right, now, tell me about how did you get, I almost became a early childhood teacher.
Yes.
So tell me what got you into, is anybody in the family was in early?
Yes.
Okay.
My mother is an educator.
Mm-hmm.
My mother studied elementary education as well, too. Mm-hmm. At an early age, my mother retired. My father, unfortunately, passed away when I was 9 years of age. So my mom began to care for children in the home after she retired. And at that time, we would kind of care for maybe 5 to 6 little ones. Mm-hmm. And then I would help them with their homework assignments. And that was really great. But I think the biggest niche came from me because sometimes I felt growing up I was misunderstood. So because I felt I was misunderstood, and I know other little ones.
I don't know if you know this, but you're not unique in that position. That's a long line in that area, but go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, and as a result, I wanted for other youths that I would work with, I wanted to help them be able to express themselves freely, and that's when the niche began, that I wanted to understand children. That led me to want to research it more, study it in school, and so on.
Where did you study it?
Well, initially I started at Olive Harvey Community College. Then I went from there to National College of Education, which is now National Lewis. Yes. And then I took classes at Erickson Institute.
Did you grow up in Englewood, or how did you decide that's where you're going to put your early learning center?
So I actually grew up in the Bronzeville community. We resided in the Ida B. Wells across from Doolittle East at that time.
Yeah.
Yes, we were there for 2 years. And then when my father passed away, we transitioned to the South Shore community. And when we were in South Shore, we were there for maybe about 12 years or so. And then from there, we went to Woodlawn. When we were in Woodlawn, I attend Apostolic Church. Apostolic.
Dr. Brazier.
Dr. Brazier, yes, author at that time. And from there were a lot of initiative around small business, the Women's Self-Employment Project. So initially, I didn't start off as an Englewood fighter, if I could say, supporter. We were in Woodlawn, but they were the same at that time. There were a lot of the same elements in both communities at the time. And then the particular church where we're housed now, they had a school there. That school was in the process of closing down. The city, it was being closed down at that time. The pastor told another pastor, and we went over to visit, had a conversation with them, and it grew from there.
How many kids are in your school?
46.
40, and what are their ages?
6 weeks to 6 years of age. I was about to say 0 to 6.
Yes. Well, I'm a big believer, starting from my dad, one of the things I love about what you do, and I want you to talk about, is how you get, it's not just the children, you're actually serving the whole family.
The whole family, yes.
This is my dad's big thing.
And that's the critical part, and to me, that's the part that I love and that's most dearest to my heart, because we were able to identify that earlier on, that we were servicing the children. They were making various marks. When I say marks, in terms of they will begin to use their little open-ended questions, critical thinking. They were exercising all those great skills. But then we had to have the parents to understand the value in that, versus a parent saying, well, come on, and, it's time to go, and, using the aggressive voice. So then here at the school.
What we refer to as the outdoor voice.
The outdoor voice, yes, that's right, the outdoor voice. So we would come, and remind the little one, it's okay, and are you using your walking feet? Oh, I see you using your inside voices. And then the parents would hear that as well. Then sometimes they would make little jokes about it, or they would mimic it. But that began to grow, and then they would begin to say, oh, I see that working. You tried that? I tried that at home, Ms. Adams. I told her to use her inside voices. She laughed at me and said, you're not my teacher. But it would start there, and it would grow from that point. And to this point now, we have a huge following of parents that are just actively, civically engaged with us. When I say with us, meaning the team at the school, they believe in the values. And of course, sometimes, they test it to see if this really works. Like even when we're going into the
does that mean, tester?
Yes. So there are tests, for an example, the learning, the academic part. Let's go to academic. So they'll say, where's her ditto sheet, Ms. Adams? And she need her homework. And where's her flashcard? She's not learning. And I say, but she is. Let me show you this activity. So then we'll bring out, the little marbles or something. And maybe we're counting 5 marbles plus 3 marbles. And then we're putting them all in the hat. And we're introducing the parents that this is her math. She is counting. She's adding. So again, we would have activities like that, send those activities home, and then they begin to see that the children learn through hands-on and through fun ways.
Yeah, I have a comment I always make. Every child is homeschooled.
Yes, I heard that yesterday.
Every child is homeschooled. Don't tell me about it. Certain kids are homeschooled because everything at school is built on what happens at the home.
That's right. It's a homeschool connection.
Now, I have read somewhere tell me about some of the kids that have already graduated, not just, and you've actually tracked.
Yes.
So give me some of that data.
At that time, I was inside the classroom, actually teaching. I was playing the teaching role, the administrative role, and the director role.
Nothing like a small business.
Yes. Yeah. And when we would transition down to Benjamin Banneker at that time, which was our neighborhood school, long story short, the teacher there at that time, the kindergarten teacher, she would express to me that, yes, I know when the children come from Little Angels, yes, I know they use their words for themselves, I know all those great things, but at this time I have over 35 students in my classroom. I don't have a paraprofessional, any help. Yes, we have Title I fundings in our school. I have 8 children with an IEP, 5 of them are still online, and she would go down this whole list. She said, so, it's only so much I can do, Ms. Adams. I said, I know. So at that point, it was, disheartening to me because I'm saying to myself, and I go back to the team, what are we going to do when we're sending our children, here? And, her hands are full. And she began to share with me, and actually at the end of this year, I'm about to retire, and I'm just going into retirement mode and so on. So that's when, for us, selective enrollment was birthed in full force. And that same year, in 2010, we received a letter from No Child Left Behind, and it just showed the schools that children could apply for. They sent the application to us directly at the school, and I just knew we needed to work harder, and we really needed to get that program ramped up. And when I say ramped up, making certain that our parents understood it, what it was about, what the process looked like. And at that time, we didn't have the online portal. We would just sit.
Do you find that helpful, the online portal?
I think the portal for our families right now it's a process. It's a working process. Many of our families are.
But to stay with this one thing, I agree with that it's a working process. But your kids now are doing
exceptionally well.
Selective enrollment, elementary.
Level 1 plus all, meaning they have options. They're getting options when the results come back from the assessment test that they take. They have options from schools such as Murray, Ray School, Agassiz School, McDay School, and we have children that are actually placed in these schools as well and are still performing well.
Those names may not be familiar to some of the listeners. Those are not, that's okay. They're the best of some of the best of our elementary schools.
Yes.
And that wasn't possible before.
Yes, that's right. To say the very least, absolutely.
So do you think that, as you go through this, we just obviously announced PreK.
Yes.
For all.
Yes.
Walk through what, if you listen to it, what would you say about what we should do? Because I wanted the phase-in, Janice and I, rather than just try to flip the switch and just try to do it all at once, which one we don't have the resources, and the good news is we're talking here, the state just passed.
Yes.
And so we got another $60 million, so we're good.
That's right.
And so we're going to be fine. But what would you concentrate on? Give me here's the top 3 things you got to make sure happen as you start to phase this in.
For an example, my school, and I know quite a few community partners, we partner with Chicago Public School, which is under DFSS now, as well as Head Start and Early Head Start. So sometimes the gray area for us is that when my children come in and then with CPS/DFSS, the income barrier is not there. Okay, we have a family that, say, makes $30,000, or a family make $42,000 that's eligible. But then with Head Start, that family will not be eligible. So there is a way that we can enroll. We still will enroll the child, but in some cases it becomes a gray area because we can't become over-enrolled in a classroom. So in that case, it has happened sometimes. I've had to refer the little one to the CPS neighborhood school because of that.
Michelle, give me your best anecdote. Tell me the story of the student and the parent or parents
Yes.
that started in one place
Yes.
and have gone so much farther because of what, and I think that come on, because as I always say, I don't need a Harvard study. I'm a father of 3.
Yes.
I can tell you early learning counts. But tell me what you, like, if you can without
Yes.
using the names. And
Sure. I have a family with 2 children. She transitioned out actually 3 years ago, and she started off volunteering in the school. She partnered with a social service agency to help with parenting skills, which is what we were doing as well too. From there, she volunteered at the daycare center. She obtained employment at Home Depot. And she lived in
what
the
happened to her
Parker.
2 kids?
Her 2 kids, well, they were still with us.
Right, yeah.
They were full-time enrolled as well. She gained full employment at Home Depot, living in the Parkways Garden on 63rd and King Drive, wants to continue excelling. Then she picks up a part-time job at the Hyatt Hotel. So now she's doing,
So
she
she wasn't working beforehand?
Was not working before. We have many families
And then how
like
about
that.
how about the kids? Who are they today that you're so proud of?
Yes, they're at Persian. They're at Persianese, absolutely. Yes, both of them. She talks about those transitions. She didn't like when the principal transitioned from there over to Ray, when they were having a few administrative transitions. But overall, she loves Persian because it's a small, intimate setting for her, and it reminds her, she says, of angels so much, where the nurturing
How
is
old
there.
are her kids today?
Let's see.
Or
No
what
names.
grade?
I'm sorry. She has a 2nd grader and a kindergarten.
And they're all...
Doing well.
Yeah, I was at
Exceptionally well.
Brenneman today, and you can see, you ask any teacher, and they'll tell you they know a full-day pre-K. A kindergarten teacher will tell you they know within 10 minutes a full-day pre-K child from a half-day or no pre-K.
Absolutely. Just based on those social interaction. Absolutely.
And their understandings of letters. I mean, it's so important
Yes.
for everything. So take people into the classroom. What is kind of the activities they're doing to help develop their mind? I mean, everybody's now, the big fad now is, 30,000 words, and the disparity between kids that are come from middle class or upper middle class families versus kids that do not, and how much more kind of as the brain wires are being formed.
Yes.
So take everybody into a room, and what do you try to structure in the ages of a year and 2 year? What are you working on?
So our morning starts with, and we love this. We love the fact that we call it a morning meeting. And when the children come in, so our 3 to 5 year olds, we love the fact that when they come in the morning, they have a morning circle, and that morning circle meeting consists of them talking about whatever they want to vent. The teacher will start off with sharing what went on in her evening or that morning, and the children will do the very same. So it's like it's therapeutic for them because they get to vent, they share a lot, they talk, they pass the mic around to each other. We have a microphone, they pass the mic around and it lights up, and then they know when the light, so it goes off in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And when it goes off, that's when you pass it to your neighbor, your friend. So that's the starter. We love that again because it allows them to decompress, allows them to vent, talk, and relax. And then when they transition out, some of the activities that we have a variety of activities, anywhere from in the sand. They love sensories, whether it's sand, whether it's the soil inside of there.
When the children come out of pre-K on their way to kindergarten,
Yes.
at any one of the schools, they know their letters by then?
Oh, absolutely.
The
absolutely.
numbers?
Yes, because they have scavenger hunts. We have bean bags, alphabet scavenger
I knew
hunts.
I would get to activity as soon as I said ask.
yes,
The
yes,
end product.
yes.
Let me. In the end, let me ask you a question. You see the value of what's being accomplished.
To say the least. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you also working with government. Let me ask you. One thing you do is you work with us on the large lot program.
Yes, yes.
So to buy a lot for $1.
Yes.
And then you're building a pre-K.
Yes, yay, yes, to say the least, yes. We're inside of a facility where we share the space. So every Friday, we take all the equipment and we put it inside of a little corner, and then we bring it back out Sunday. We disassemble and assemble. They use it for their banquet eating area. So to have our own dedicated space.
You're going to build your own facility.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, the other thing you work with us is on, or you work through the government, is Department of Family Services.
Yes.
How could that be made easier? Or is it a minefield? Is it actually well done? I mean, do you feel?
The transition?
No, I'm just is the government just a big, faceless, nameless bureaucracy? Or is it pretty, you got your contact and you can make everything work so you can get what you need out of Department of Family Services? Be honest.
Be honest.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I know
Okay.
it's a working effort. We
Go ahead.
understand that, and I know it's a process. It's relatively new for me in terms of the governmental side, because we've only been on that side for about 6 years. But there are just so many changes. Everything is always revised. Every time we're adjusted with this process, then something else comes in. And I just don't want to get distracted, because I love being hands-on, being down on the floor, being interactive with the environment, with everything that we're doing. But then sometimes with the government, there's just so much. We call it busy work, paperwork, busy work.
Yeah, because,
And it's-
we have to report to a boss upstairs by the name of the federal government
Yes,
if we don't have
yes,
paperwork.
Yes.
No, I know, but
absolutely.
it is.
And it's just so many revisions that take place during that process. And then there's so many transitions with the team members where the turnover rate appears to us. Sometimes we get.
You do
know-
have an empathetic face, though, as you're doing this. It's really working.
Okay, all right, okay.
Let me ask you a question. How do you get the parents to learn about your program? How do you, is it word of mouth?
It is. It's word of mouth. And when they come in, we lead by example.
What does that mean?
So when the parents come in, our entire environment is warm. And it's warm because our teachers are passionate. That's what I love, the fact that our teachers have a real joy. We don't have a high turnover rate. Our teachers have been with us anywhere between 7 to 12 years. And they exhibit that I want to be here. I want to make a difference. That's
Right.
what you feel. So the parents feel something different, for starters, when they first enter inside our school. And from that point on, it's a trust relationship. Trust meaning they're watching us to see, they're listening what we're saying, or we're acting the same day, the next day that we were the day before. Are we consistent in what we're saying in our delivery? And that's how we build those relationships with our parents.
How many kids do you have to turn parents away?
Definitely, yes. Right now we have, I can say, we have a waiting list, but technically we do not, because if we're not able to service the families maybe in a couple days to a week, they go elsewhere. And that's what we usually do. We refer them to the Illinois Cook County.
But if you could, what's your waiting list on average? Or your
between 15 to 20 children. Yes.
backed up?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Always, all the time.
I cannot wait to have your new place, your own for the kids and everything.
Yes.
What's the one thing you want in that new building that you don't have today that you definitely think is a must?
You said just one? I can't say.
You can say three,
two.
ma'am.
Okay, so we're going to have a room dedicated specifically for the children, where it's like a little art room where the children, when they're having their meltdown moments, they can go in. It's a little bit more snugged, cuddled, isolated. So that's going to be one session. We're going to have an actually indoor gym. So weather permitting, or if there's some challenges outside, we still can have greatness inside with lots of space for the children. And then we're going to have a staff lounge. So we don't have to eat all in the home.
How do you get, speaking of staff, one of the big challenges we're having,
Yes.
and which is why we need to do this over 4 years, is finding all the teachers, because there's a shortage of early learning educators. How do you say they're loyal, so how does that?
Yes.
It's everybody's on a mission?
Yeah, yes, but we have, I like to say, we have great communication. When the team members initially come in and inquire, we go over whatever their plan looked like, and that plan is like a 3-year plan, their individualized plan, so we get to know what their goals are. They have an opportunity to share and read our mission with us, and we go over it together, and we kind of walk through it step by step. So we really make certain that that individual is a fit for us, and we're a fit for them as well. And then from that point on, we just communicate, we stay in contact, we have quarterly meetings. I think the key is supporting the team, supporting the staff from where they specifically need support, not where I feel they need it, but where they tell me.
Have you ever hired a parent?
Oh, yeah, I have 4 parents that were a part of, so 2 of my parents obtained.
There was no other career you could have done than early learning, given your enthusiasm. No way, man. Go ahead. 4.
Yes.
4 parents,
4 parents
that are now teachers.
Yes. So one of our parents as well went through community college, Kennedy King, and she now has her CDA credential.
Fabulous.
Yay, yes. Then we have another parent as well, same exact story, Kennedy King graduate, CDA as well in addition to, and then the other 2 are pursuing their CDAs at this time. We just have an amazing, amazing team.
I'm so
10.
impressed with what you've done.
I want you to come see one day,
No,
just
no.
one day. Yes.
Well, we'll come. Don't you worry about that.
Absolutely.
All the articles the stuff I've read, I've been really impressed. I do think one of the things I'm very impressed is that you're proven Demographics is not destiny.
Absolutely. Our zip code does not define us.
So now that we're going to do the lightning round. You ready?
Yes. Oh, yes, yes.
This is
yes.
not this. Don't worry. It's not like counting marbles. This is easy.
Okay. All righty. Yes.
Cubs or Sox?
Socks.
Oh, that was quick. Thick or thin pizza?
Thick. I love it.
Okay.
Waffles.
Okay. Hancock or Sears?
Sears.
Okay. Lake or river?
Lake.
Okay. 12-inch or 16-inch softball?
12-inch.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong.
Right.
Okay.
That's
So
right.
don't
My
worry
preference.
about it.
Yep.
You passed. This is Nashone Greer-Adams from Little Angels Learning.
Absolutely. That's right.
All right, man.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for what you do.
Thank you.
All righty.
Yes.
You've been listening to Chicago Stories with Mayor Rahm Emanuel. You can subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts and tweet your guest ideas using hashtag ShyStories. Thanks for listening.